Yes, Matthew.
Sure, thanks a lot. I wanted to ask you about starting with this note to correspondence by Bernardino Leon. And I just, he said at the beginning of it that in light of the most recent reporting, the New York Times publication of the second tranche of emails, he said, I have decided to request a full clarification of the issue. Is he doing, I mean, is this is he doing that on behalf of the UN, on behalf of the Sanctions Committee? Will he share the information with the Secretary General, with the public? How should that sentence be read?
That sentence should be read as something reflecting the views of the Special Representative, Mr. Leon. As such, this comprises his own views, as he put it, takes time to reflect on his next steps. That's unrelated to the work of the United Nations. In his capacity as Special Representative, as you know, what he's focusing on in his remaining days in the job is trying to get the parties to an agreement. Once he has left that job, as you know, he will be succeeded in that position by Martin Kobler.
And relatedly, I wanted to ask about his predecessor, Mr. Mitri. I've seen this quote, approval of the Secretary General for certain outside activities that Mr. Mitri received, signed by Susanna Malcora in 2012. And it seems like he followed the rules. He sought a ruling on, being the Arab Center for Research and Policy Studies, various board memberships. There was a very detailed letter about don't take payment, but you can take travel, et cetera. So I wanted to know, did Mr. Leon similarly seek a ruling in his discussions with the UAE? And if not, why not?
Well, I don't speak for Mr. Leon and his choices. He has already spoken at length to you, for example, a week ago, and also in this note, about the actions he's taken, and we'll leave it at that. Our expectation is that all officials, particularly all senior officials, do need to look into any potential conflicts of interest that may arise. If they have any questions about that, they should follow the steps, as indeed Mr. Mitri has done, and look at the existing avenues that we have, including the ethics office. These are resources that all of them can avail themselves of, and they're encouraged to do so.
There's just one more thing, if you don't mind, if it's related to this.
Can we come back to you?
Okay.
Hold on. Yes.
Some other questions, but I just still on Libya and following up. I've looked at, there's an ethics, UN ethics Q&A that says to people for post-employment restrictions, finally, you should act with caution if you accept a job with a member state immediately after leaving the UN. So it seems like if Mr. Feltman knew of these negotiations from August 27th on, my question is not to Mr. Leon, I guess it's to you for Mr. Feltman. Did Mr. Feltman advise Bernardino Leon of this? Did he inform the Secretary General? And after that, did he tell him to seek an ethics ruling, as Mr. Mitri did?
Well, ultimately, like I said, the question is for the officials themselves. They are encouraged, and the Secretary General does encourage all of them to go to the ethics office for anything, for any questions of this sort of nature, and it's up to them to avail themselves of these resources. Mr. Leon has made clear to all of you, I believe, that his awareness that this particular set of circumstances didn't look good. Following the Times article, he's made it clear that he himself is looking for further clarifications, and he may need to make some further decisions on that light. So that is a process he's going through, and we will await the outcome of that. In the meantime, our focus, as it has always been, remains on the negotiations in Libya itself. We don't ultimately want to get distracted from the fact that right now we have a deal on the table. We need to make sure that all the parties see that deal as being in their interest. He's been working towards that, and we certainly hope that what has happened over these past days doesn't become a distraction from something that is actually achievable and that needs to be achieved for the sake of the Libyan people.
My question is, does a head of a department like Mr. Feltman, if the UN system is saying there should be caution taken about taking a job with a member state, if an envoy reporting to Mr. Feltman tells him, I'm in negotiations for a job, what is the head of the department supposed to do?
I'm not aware that he even had that kind of discussion with him.
If the email is
mind
true,
you, I mean, what I am aware of is that Mr. Feltman appreciates the need to keep him on the job while the work was proceeding. That's clear, and that's within his responsibilities as manager. What's also clear is that Mr. Leon, like all all officials, does need to take responsibility for the ethics of his own actions.
Did the Secretary General send a letter out yet? He had said both orally and in writing, envoys were going to be reminded of these ethical considerations. Has that happened?
I believe that there will be further reminders. I do think that this matter will be taken up at the next meeting of the Chief Executives Board, which, as you know, gathers together the heads of the UN system. And we do expect it also be raised at the next session of the Senior Management Group. So we are taking this forward.